stomach, nothing.
Soccer? But it's really called football. Soccer? The creators called it football. Soccer? You know, you play it with your feet. Reading between the headlines. Soccer? But it's really called football. Soccer?
Hello, football fans, and welcome back to Reading Between the Headlines. I'm Asaf Nisim, your host for Peruse the News, the live show where we catch up on the latest Chelsea news together, maybe some world football news more broadly, and of course, as always, we live football and prosper as one should. Now, before we continue with the rest of the show, why not, this is my marketing pitch, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, maybe even hit the notification bell to know when I go live, because we have been doing that a lot. But more importantly, subscribe to the stream so we see you in the future. Now, this channel, I know, it's small, it's tiny, it's so cute and little, and so much potential. Why not get in on the fun early before the channel explodes, because it is gradually growing all the time, and you want to be able to say that you were one of those cool people that got in before it was even cool. So why not subscribe to the channel and like the stream and make sure you are here for future shows. Now that is out of the way for now, we might come back to it a little bit later, otherwise I'm not doing my job, am I? On the docket for today, first things first, it is official. Chelsea's list of squad numbers for 24-25 has been finalized and released officially. So we will be checking that out. Next is Enzo Maresca's pre-match press conference. We will have a look at that, have a little reaction, maybe pause a little in between and give our thoughts on what's being said. I like to do that. Then we will head over to chelseafc.com for their all you need to know piece regarding the upcoming match versus Bournemouth away at the Vitality. And in the meanwhile, we will take a few peeks at Bournemouth's recent stats over at FOTMob and do a little bit of a starting 11 prediction for ourselves for Chelsea. I don't know if it's so much going to be preferred lineup, but maybe just prediction, what we think, maybe, or what I think. I will take some input if people feel the need or the impulse to give their 2 cents in the chat. Then after that, I thought this was interesting. Let's take a listen into the Obi podcast, John Obi Mikel's podcast. He did have some things to say about Victor Osimhen and how the deal played out, the possibility of a future deal, and also some insight into the people behind the scenes at Chelsea. We've been reading some pretty jarring, disconcerting stuff here on this channel as well as around the interwebs more broadly. But let's hear some from the horse's mouth, aka Chelsea alum John Obi Mikel. We'll just take a little look, a little peek in on his podcast. Hopefully I don't get striked on YouTube for doing that. I think it should be okay. Can't be sure. But and as a bonus, per usual, if we have any time after that, maybe we'll stalk some of our favorite Chelsea player Instagrams. It's always fun. The comments are always fun. But before we get into the first article, this is the moment where I'd show you last stream's poll results. Unfortunately, I forgot to screenshot them at the end of last stream. Listen, I'm still learning. We're still young. We make mistakes, but this was a mistake. But I still wanted to, because I did remember one of the numbers, which was the most important numbers in terms of the poll results. And the question last stream was, is VAR, video assistant referee, is it essential to the future of fairness in football? And all I can say is that 67% of you said yes. There was at least one vote that went for no, go back to the way it was. And I'm not sure who said possibly the third option, cut back, but keep some of it. But we do know that 67% said yes, which I think is the smart opinion. I mean, you kind of have to be... Well, you could either be an OG sort of nostalgic type of person to say, no, I don't want VAR in the game. I just want to go back to the way things were. It was great. I don't mind that Frank Lampard's goal got disallowed, although goal line technology would have changed that as well. That isn't necessarily VAR related. But the hand of God would have been disallowed. That's Maradona's. I want the old way it was. I could see that. But other than that, if that's not your opinion, and even then I'm not exactly too keen on that opinion, I'm a fan of fairness in the game. I want things to go well. And that's not to say that VAR always gets everything right. That VAR is perfect. But I still think that VAR is the way of the future, and it can improve. It will improve, hopefully, and people will get more into it. Maybe it'll be quicker. I think that's one of the things that people who don't like VAR want to see, is the decisions happening quicker, regardless of it's not that they don't like the right decisions being made. Obviously, everybody likes the right decisions being made, unless the decision is against them. They might be a little sour in the moment, but generally, people want the right decisions being made. They just don't like the delay, and maybe in some cases it's unavoidable, but maybe referees could improve the expedience with which those decisions are made. Okay, but we will move on to this week's question. We'll shut that out. And as you can see, I'll put it right here. And we're going to go simple here. We're going to go simple on this week's poll. The question is, how will Chelsea FC's next match play out? I should probably actually write this a little different. How will Chelsea FC versus Bournemouth play out? Let's go with that. And maybe cut out the FC thing. Yeah, I don't know why I wrote it that way. I like to write these things before I get out here. How? And I just did not write it the way I would like. And then that way I don't have to type it out like I'm doing right now, but that's happening right now. How will Chelsea versus Bournemouth play out? The first option is Chelsea win. Second is, we're keeping it simple here, folks, Bournemouth win, and we'll add a third option, draw. and engage. And we'll see how that turns out here. And we move on with the show. Okay, so let's get to the first order of the day. We will be having a look at the squad roster. It is out. Chelsea put out a picture assisted squad list. I'll say assisted. Picture accompanied squad list out on the Instagram, which I think is cute. So there it is, as you can see, and we will get through it now. So number 1, we have Robert Sanchez, number 1. Number 2, remember, it's 25 man. It's a 25-man list. We'll find out. Number 2, Axel Disasi. No surprises there. I don't know if everybody's happy about that, but that's how it is. Mark Cucurella makes the number 3. Tosin Adarabioyo, number 4. Benoit Badiashile, number 5. Levi Colwell, number 6. Pedro Neto, the coveted number 7. I don't know how coveted it is, but CR7 was a thing, and he is a Portuguese player, so slightly coveted by Portuguese players, you imagine. Enzo Fernandez, number 8. Mikhailo Mudryk, number 10. The number 10 at Chelsea is Mikhailo Mudryk. Interesting. Noni Madueke getting the 11, the Drogba number. Philip Jorgensen, the backup keeper as of now, number 12. Marcus Bettinelli, the backup keeper, number 13. Then we have Joao Felix, number 14. Nicholas Jackson, number 15. Carney Chukwuemeka gets a spot, number 17. Christopher Nkunku, or Cristo, as he is affectionately called, number 18, with his little balloon picture that has been going around for a while now. Jadon Sancho chooses number 19. All right. Cole Palmer, number 20. No change there. Expected. Star player. Ben Chilwell, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Chilwell in the squad. Unexpectedly by some people, but I will remind you all that I did kind of predict this last stream. I did say you can go back. There's video evidence. I did think that in this moment, having Malo Gusto injured and Reece James both injured at the same time, Ben Chilwell's loan deal on the rocks, it looked as if Ben Chilwell might sneak his way back into the roster. And I think personally, and as some of these comments are, actually many of these comments are exclaiming, many people are happy to see Chilwell back on the roster. Of course, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, it would be weird if he wasn't in the roster, as he was literally just picked up this season. So it definitely would be an odd move to leave him out. We got Reece James, of course, 24. Although he's injured, he's in. And that's obvious because he is one of our X-Factor players and belongs there, obviously. Hopefully we'll see him back. Hopefully we'll see him marauding up that right-hand side, going forward, attacking, pinging those balls in, those dipping, beautiful balls in front of goal for Nicholas Jackson to get on the end of, because we know Nicholas Jackson can score some pretty headers. We know he did at least one. He scored at least one beautiful header. That was against, was it Crystal Palace, I believe. Yeah, so Moises Caicedo, number 25. Malo Gusto, number 27. Fofana, Wesley, number 29. Cesare Casade, now 31. We haven't seen too much of him, but we have seen him on the side there, and you tend to think tended to think that he would be included. Tyreek George, we did see him against Servette in our losing yet qualifying match in the second leg of the Conference League qualifier. Then we got Josh Achimpong, number 34. David Washington makes it in. You know, we thought he was going to go get loaned out or sold, which would have been weird because we literally just bought him last year. But he's making the squad. So David Washington, there he is, number 36. Omari Kellerman, 37. He's still injured, I believe. Mark Guiu, I think. He told us how to pronounce it. I just still don't get it right. Number 38. Then we have Renato Vega, number 40. I guess Lucas Bergstrom, number 47. Yep. Romeo Lavia, no change there, number 45. And I would imagine that many of you are excited to see him back out there, as I am, because he seriously made an impression. And yeah, I'm definitely psyched about him. He's one of the few players that I am actually psyched about this season. So there's that. As you can see, it is out there. We're ready. And we will move on now to Enzo Maresca's pre-match press conference. I did watch this, actually. This time I watched it, I got to admit. But I think it's nice to go through it and start and stop where appropriate. Let's go for it. Pull it up. There it is. And engage.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
You're a
Good
very
afternoon.
adaptable manager. You
Good
have
evening.
rotational systems, so players can play in different
As
places.
Unai Emery
We've seen
would
Enzo
say.
play as a deep line playmaker, as a 6 and be excellent. We've seen him be box to box as an 8. Where do you see him playing best under you?
I think it's very, very difficult in the way we play to find a midfielder that he can attack like attacking midfielder and he can defend like all the midfielder. For instance, Arsenal is using Declan Rice, that is playing on the ball attacking midfielder and defend as a holding midfielder. City in the past they have done with Gundogan, that is attacking midfielder and defending like holding midfielder. In our case, we are trying to find a balance and to find a player that they can give us this kind of solution. And at the moment, Enzo is the only one that, when we have the ball, is playing like attacking midfielder, and off the ball, when we don't have the ball, is dropping next to Moi and to try to help us and give us defensive balance. The first game, for instance, we use Romeo and Moi as holding midfielder. So yeah,
That was the best pairing thus far this
In this
season.
moment, playing on the ball.
I just cannot wait to have Lavia back next to Enzo. I felt like Enzo played the best next to Lavia. Obviously, we didn't win that game, but felt like Enzo played the best next to Lavia. Lavia looked fantastic. I guess Enzo played a little bit more forward in that game, but I just can't wait to see Lavia back, honestly. I think it's going to transform our team, like, fantastically.
As attacking midfielder, off the ball as holding midfielder, defensive midfielder, and he's doing very, very good with us. So the idea is to continue on that.
Yeah.
Another talented midfielder you have, Carney. So he was included in your Conference League squad. He was in pre-season. What does his future look like under you, and what role do you see him in midfield?
I said already to him personally, and I said already to you in the press conference, I really, really like Carney. The problem is that we have so many attacking midfielders that he's going to struggle to find space. And for me, because of his past in terms of injury, the best thing to do was to go in some team and to prove himself that he is fit and he can play 30-35 games and then come back here. Unfortunately,
We do know, as we just checked, Carney is on the roster, is on the list to play this Premier League season with Chelsea. And Enzo right here is saying, well, probably the best thing for him would have been to go somewhere else and get more minutes, because it's going to be tough for him to get in. But also moments before that, he was saying we don't really have another attacking midfielder that can go forward and attack besides Enzo. And I think what he basically is saying is that we can rely on.
we didn't find any solution, so now it's one of the players of our squad, and we can use him.
And you have a lot of attacking options and lots of players with flair that was brought in over the transfer window. We know Jadon Sancho is excellent 1v1, great game IQ, great ball carrier. How do you see him being utilised in this squad with all these options now? More off the bench?
No, I said many times. I decide the first 11 depends of the training session. So Jadon is one of our wingers. I expect him. I'm seeing him exactly in the way I expect him. Very good player in the last third, as you said, 1v1 quality in the last third. So he's exactly the player we were looking at.
But will he start against Bournemouth? We'll make that decision when we predict the lineup. I tend to think not, but it would be interesting to see that. I have a feeling that we're going to need to break Bournemouth down, obviously. And we'll talk about that too, because Bournemouth tend to lay off on the possession when they play against a bigger in air quotes side. So I think they're going to lay off and let us have the ball a little bit more. And we're going to need somebody like Jadon Sancho to break them down, I think. So.
But now it's a matter to find the right moment for him, to give him chance. That's it.
And
Last one's wrong.
Yeah, how far off are Lavia and James from returning to the bench?
Yeah, Romeo looks like very close, hopefully for the next game. Unfortunately, Reece, he needs more time.
Thank you so much.
John?
Hi, Enzo, how are you? Can I ask you that ownership question? Obviously, it's been well documented.
After 3 or 4 questions, it's good progress. I expected. Yeah.
What have you made of what's going on?
No, I said many times, and we also with you, we just started 2 months ago, so we need to know a little bit each other. But I try always to be as honest possible, and if I spend my energy about something different, I think it's don't worth it. So my focus is just about tomorrow game, to be honest. And in the last week, I try to do exactly the same. Focus in the way we want to prepare the game in the best way. So then the other things, they are things that I cannot control.
So you haven't spoken to either of them at all about it?
No, I spoke with Todd. I think when we play City, probably that more or less. And I spoke with Bedad days ago. So I'm speaking with both. There is not any problem at all. And as I said, my focus is just about the pitch because it's the only thing I can control.
I think it's the first time we've spoken since the transfer window closed. So are you happy with the squad you've now got, with the players who've come in and also the players that have left? Because we spoke a lot about trying to get rid of players.
Yeah, I said probably after Palace game that I feel very lucky because we have many players that they can play in different positions. They are versatile. That is something that I really like.
Gonna speed it up.
And I think all the target that we
it is sped up.
looking at.
Okay, we're at 1.25.
They are all here. Probably in terms of some players that we were looking at and then they don't arrive is because when we want player, but we want player in our condition, not in their condition. So when both we find solution, it's good. Otherwise, they don't arrive.
Ben Chilwell is still here. So what is the situation?
Here we go.
Yeah, Ben now that probably is the only one that is still here. So probably now we're gonna sit with him and we're gonna find solution because he's the only one. So we see probably he's going to be back with us on training session. We see because at the moment he's not.
We already saw
us,
he's on the list.
but,
So
from now on, probably we need to sit with him and to find the right solution, and we see.
I believe they released this list after this press conference. Yeah, they did.
Join the group and you could
The list came after the press conference.
The reason why he is training apart is because the idea was for him to leave.
So again, bear in mind, this press conference was filmed before the roster was released, and the roster was released, and Ben Chilwell is on the roster. So, and as I predicted in last stream, likely Reece James and Malo Gusto both being injured at the same time had to have played, or likely, I think, played some role in this. I mean, yeah, he didn't get loaned out, but the fact that Reece and Malo are both injured right now has to play on Maresca's mind. He has to be thinking, maybe it is a better idea that Chilwell's back with us, back in the side. So,
But because we didn't find any solution, he's here and probably he's going to start to train with us. We need to decide that. Probably it could be, and in the moment that if we decide that, we'll be one of the players.
and they did.
Last one, John.
is he in at the moment?
Say again, sorry.
What frame of mind is he in at the moment?
What frame of mind? What means? How is he?
Yeah.
I think it's good, to be honest. As I said, he's not training with us.
I mean, he has to be
So, but,
elated
I
right now.
can see him. I saw him this morning.
I know the fans are.
he's
I
okay.
know the fans are very happy to see Chile back in,
And just a quick one.
myself included.
How is Malo Gusto doing? Is he alright? Is he ready for tomorrow?
No, Malo is still out. He's not available for tomorrow game.
And then just my follow-up. Against Wolves,
Come on, give us
Chelsea
something,
didn't defend
though.
their set piece well, especially for the last in goal. Against Palace, again, it was a set piece, and then it wasn't defended well, and then, I mean, as a scored. Chelsea paid a lot of money for a set piece coach. Has he started working?
Yeah, absolutely. But we also score from set pieces. So you don't know.
So he's talking about what's his name? This guy. Yeah, Bernardo Cueva, who we picked up, and we paid Brentford £1.1 million to basically steal him from their setup. Mexican set piece coach, 37-year-old Bernard Cueva from Brentford, £1.1 million. Interesting. So that's what he's talking about. We spent a ton of money on the set piece coach. Why the heck are we still giving up easy set piece goals like against? Did it come off a set piece in the end, Crystal Palace? I don't think it did. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But yeah, well, we spent the money, and Maresca is just saying, well, we're scoring set pieces too, so eat crap.
To just watch the goal we concede. Also because from now to the end, we are going to concede goal set pieces and we are going to score set pieces. And this is not because it's working well or working bad. It's because it's where it is. In football, you are going to concede goal in set pieces, even if you have the best set pieces in the world.
Thank you. Got time for 3 more.
True.
Simon, Davide, and Ruben.
And so, appreciate you don't want to talk too much about the ownership situation, but how important is it that it's not a negative distraction on the squad? Have you sort of tell players don't worry about it?
No, I think the players they are professional enough to understand that these kind of things, there are things that we cannot do nothing, we cannot control. So the main focus for me is exactly the main focus for the players, that is to the pitch, the way we need to do the things, to improve things. And I think this is the main target for them, for me, and for all of us, that we cannot control that kind of situation.
And do you hope whatever happens, it's resolved sooner rather than later, that it doesn't continue to drag on throughout the season?
I don't know if something is going to happen, to be honest. I don't have an idea. The only thing I can say is that in terms of football side, we are in the right direction. I think the team is improving, analyzing. I also use the international break to review the games and these kind of things. I think the 3 Premier League games that we played, it's true that we concede goals, but it's also true that we conceded the first shot on goal against Palace. That was the goal. Against City, we didn't concede so many chances that it's very strange. Don't concede chance against City.
Yeah, but that's because City just weren't at their best. They didn't have Rodri. Let's be real. It's really tough to say whether we're actually improving.
Davide?
I can't say for sure that we've actually improved.
How are you working? What are you working on?
We could either go into a major spiral here. I honestly think we could either go into a major spiral here and just keep losing games. Bournemouth is a tough test. Don't get it twisted. Bournemouth is going to be a tough test. The showing they had against Everton, even though they were losing most of the game, they weren't like they showed that they will fight for those points. So it is not a foregone conclusion that we beat Bournemouth.
Something new for the future that probably we can use. And also we try to find, as I mentioned at the beginning, some defensive work to find.
I lost money on that Everton game, for God's sake.
That we are not.
I thought I was a real G betting on Everton. I was like, you know what? I just feel Everton underdog. They're going to win. And then they were winning 2-0 most of the game. And then freaking Bournemouth Cherries had to turn it around in the end, those bastards.
That I think was.
I thought I was in easy street.
We completely deserved to win the game. So I try to focus on these kind of things, and the main target is always how we can improve players, because I said always that improving players, probably you are going to improve the team.
You probably had an idea of how you want your team to play from the beginning.
Double check, see that.
The transfer market is closed. You know the players you're managing. How happy are you with the size of your squad and the players you have?
No, in this moment we have 24 players. That is quite a normal squad. I said
people can't hear me, or if my mic is too loud, please let me know.
With 40 players. So in terms of squad, I feel I already said many times that I really like Chelsea squad already before I joined the club. Then in the moment that I joined the club, we did some things, and I think doing something more in January and something more next summer, we're gonna have exactly the squad that we are.
I think he knows what he's talking about right there,
Last
January.
Question,
And we'll talk about that in a sec.
How happy are you with this, and how good can he be?
Very
just
happy,
a little bit.
First of all, because I think he's doing very well. Since I joined the club with us, he's working hard on the ball and off the ball, and this kind of player that I said already many times, he's going to score goals always. And with us in the first 3 Premier League game, he already gave some assists, he scored goals. So very happy for Nico and also for us.
Still not good enough, but not convincing enough, I should say. But I'm hopeful.
In terms of physicality, yeah, for sure.
I'm
for
optimistic.
Sure today, if you want to compete, you have to try to find the right balance between a technical side and physical side. I think, as you said, these 2 clubs City and Arsenal, but also Liverpool. They have that kind of players that they are physicality strong, but I think we are there too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we're there too, to be quite honest. Definitely, Nico tends to get out muscled on the ball, and I would like to have a bigger, stronger, maybe a bigger, stronger striker in that position. I don't know. I mean, it's more than that with Nico, but you know what? He's not a small guy. Hopefully, he can come around. He can improve on that aspect of his game. I really have a problem with Nico in tight spaces. He does not tend to hold on to the ball, and I love a striker that just has the ball glued to his foot, that just can't be overpowered. And so far, that's not Nico. I will say this, in the middle of the park, when there's a little bit more space, like on the turn, Nico is fantastic. I mean, he turns really well when he picks the ball up deep, but that's not what he's here for. He's in the squad to be a focal point. However, we will talk about it in just a bit. We will talk about what might happen in January with some little bits of insight from John Obi Mikel. Let's head on over to Chelsea.com. They put out Bournemouth versus Chelsea, all you need to know. Just so you know, it is, if you haven't found this out yet, it is a late kickoff for Chelsea this time. One of the later, maybe the latest that we've had for a Saturday game, in that it is 8 p.m. It's going to be 8 p.m. in England and 3 p.m. on the East Coast. Obviously, midday at noon if you're on the West Coast, which might be great for you. But yeah, so it's a weird one, and it's only that way because of television rights. They didn't want to have any overlap for the during the Aston Villa game. So I forget who it was. It was Sky Sports. So that's what it was. That's why it's such a late kickoff time. Me personally, I don't mind at all. But for English people, it might be a problem. Well, anyway, it's cool to have an evening game, honestly. I would think that an 8 p.m. game in England, that's a fun time. That's a good night. That's a scintillating time, if you will. Watching the Blues in action on a Saturday evening is a rare occurrence. The last occasion came in April as we played out a 2-2 draw at Aston Villa, but that was our first match in that time slot for 4 years. However, a Saturday tea time kickoff has proved fruitful for Chelsea in recent years, with 6 of our previous 8 fixtures to get underway post 6 p.m., ending in victory. So I guess we play well in the evening, eh? I don't really take too much stock in those stats, but it's interesting. We have not been as successful in fixtures immediately after an injury break. Our most recent success in a post-FIFA setting, did they mean to write injury break or international break? I don't know. Our most recent success in a post-FIFA setting was a 2-0 win following the mid-season World Cup in December 2022. That was a while ago. That came home to this weekend's opponents, and Enzo Maresca's men will hope to extend a run of 5 games without defeat against the Cherries, who were beaten 2-1 by the Blues on the final day of last season. We're not going to watch those highlights because I don't want to get struck out on YouTube. Confidence within the squad should be high, as the Blues have won 3 Premier League away games on the spin, a feat last achieved in April 2022. That run includes the 6-2 walloping of Wolverhampton Wanderers, our last away fixture in the top flight. Yeah, well, why would we play better away than we played against Crystal Palace at home? I don't know how those things work out, but it's a thing, I guess. The Blues will also want to produce a shutout after 17 successive games on the road without a clean sheet. We haven't had a clean sheet in 17 games on the road, and our defense has not been looking tip-top, but a shutout against Bournemouth, who scored 3 last time out against Everton, would be nice. And I think it would certainly be an indication of our momentum going up, because right now I think a lot of Chelsea fans are thinking, it could go either way. We could just start losing or we could start winning. And that this could be a pivotal moment, honestly. And Bournemouth are not pushovers. Andoni Iraola was critical of his team's performance at Everton. I know, right, Gabe? Gabe says, Chelsea better effing win. I've had it. I'm with you, man. And like I said just now, it is a pivotal moment. I think nobody really feels confident. I mean, maybe there's some people that do, but most Chelsea fans are not going to feel confident right now. And there's no reason to necessarily feel confident. Nothing's been pure dominant performance or a very cohesive performance yet. I wouldn't even say the Wolverhampton Wanderers game was. Yes, there was great connection between Cole Palmer and Noni Madueke going forward. And there was a nice little Portuguese connection with Enzo Fernandez and Joao Felix. I'm not even sure they've played together since then. But I'm not feeling totally convinced about our ability to move the ball around in the final third quickly and actually break teams down. It'll be interesting to see who starts that game and how we're going to face Bournemouth, who are going, definitely, in my opinion, they're going to drop off on us. I mean, they dropped off against Newcastle, who are maybe not even as good as we are, or as we should be necessarily in possession. But I think that's what we're going to see. We're probably going to see about a 60-40 split, maybe more in favor of Chelsea on the possession. So anyway, their coach was critical of them. They had a last gasp comeback. I lost some money on it, 3-2. I thought I was killing it and ended up losing money. But betting on Everton in that game when Bournemouth came back from 2-0 in the dying embers of the game, basically. Victory could lift Chelsea as high as 5th in the table. So that's interesting. We could get up to 5th. Right now, we are not in 5th. I'll tell you that much. Where are we right now? Are we in 7th or 11th? Or let's pull that up real quick. 11th, yeah. So Chelsea is in 11th. We could go up to 5th if we win this game. That would be nice. Definitely a confidence boost. Chelsea team news, as we just saw with Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca used international breaks to embed new ideas during his time in charge of Leicester City, and the Chelsea head coach has repeated that process at Cobham over the past 2 weeks. We used this international break to try something new for the future that we could probably use, and also we did defensive work to find some balance, the Blues head coach explained, as we just saw in the pre-match press conference. That doesn't mean we're not defending well, because in my opinion, having analyzed the games in the match against City, we didn't concede many chances. In the second game, except for in the last 20 minutes of the first half, we didn't concede anything. I'm not feeling as confident as he is in our defense. We still are yet to really show. As they just said, we haven't had a single clean sheet in the last 17 matches. What was it? Was it 17? Ugh. Yeah, 17 successive games on the road without a clean sheet. Yeah, we'll be fine. We have Cucurella. Yeah, I hope you're right, man. But I tend to have I'm worried. Honestly, I'm worried about Kluivert. I'm worried that he's one of those guys that has terrorized us in the past, and I could see him sort of doing it again. And one thing about Cucurella that I don't like is that he gets too tight to attackers. He doesn't give himself that space, and he's quick, especially like 0 to 10 yards. But I worry that he makes that mistake all too often, and Kluivert could punish him. Okay, he's tricky. Right. So they worked on the defense. Hopefully that international break does good for us. It could go either way, right? I won't read that. Maresca will have to do without 3 members of his squad, as we know. Malo Gusto, Reece James, and Romeo Lavia, 3 really important players. I cannot wait. I can't overstate this. Really excited to see Lavia back in the side. Right. Because I do think he will transform our team just that much, like just even a little bit in the right direction. He'll have that big of an effect. Malo is still out and he is not available for tomorrow's game. He didn't seem very optimistic about Malo at all, so I don't know if we're going to see him anytime soon. Romeo looks very close. In fact, they had said that Romeo was probably maybe going to get back for this game, but he didn't. So I'm really excited to see him back, as I just said. Gabe C. James has been injured for the past 2 years. WTF. I know, man. I'm not if he wasn't as good as he is, I mean, we all know how good Reece James is. And if he wasn't that good, then maybe we wouldn't be putting so much stock in him as a club. But He's just that good. Like at his best, he's maybe the best right back in the world, right? I mean, I don't know if do you agree with that? I kind of do. But we haven't we've seen him come back for in between injuries, and he wasn't at his best either. I think he'll take some time to get back to his best. In more positive news, Fofana and Palmer, who withdrew from international duty, have trained at Cobham this week and are available for selection. As you can see over here, yeah, it's tough to say, right, Gabe? Cole, 4 assists, 1 goal. Madueke, 4 goals. Nicholas Jackson, 2 goals, 1 assist. Nkunku, 2 goals. Joao Felix, 1 goal. It was in the 6-2 win. Fernandez, 1 assist, and Neto, 1 assist. That was to Felix. Chelsea are undefeated against Bournemouth since back-to-back losses on the road at Stamford Bridge in 2019. On the road and at Stamford Bridge in 2019. I guess we lost. Damn, we lost to them twice in 2019. That was when they had probably Eddie Howe and they were just killing it for a while. Prior to a 4-0 away defeat that January, the Blues had lost only once at the Vitality Stadium, previously known as Dean Court, in all competitions stretching back to Division II in 1988. Chile, best Chelsea player at the moment. Chile or Cold Palmer? Oh, Cold Palm. Okay, I got you. Because sometimes that's true. Sometimes use that emoji for Chile, but that would be a tough sell at the moment. Let's skip to know this. Palmer is the first Premier League player since Manchester United's Paul Pogba in 2021 to rack up 4 assists across the opening 3 games of a top-flight campaign. He did get like 3 assists in 1 game, though. Madueke has the 3rd most shots on target this season in the Premier League with 6, 1 ahead of Jackson. 3 of those led to his hat-trick against Wolves at Molyneux. And yeah, that's no surprise, although we all know that Jackson has 2 goals? I guess he has 2 goals. He had the tap in and he has the header. But he has so many missed. Like you can see that Jackson has a bunch of shots on target, but that also says that he missed a bunch of big chances, doesn't it? And he really did, because they were big chances. They weren't just like shots on target from distance or anything. No team has scored more counterattacks than Chelsea this season too, but only Wolves 3 have conceded more goals from set plays than the Londoners do. Okay, doesn't mean much to me. Yes, we've been more of a counterattacking team, and it's not necessarily a good thing because, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, look at Liverpool when they were at their best, lightning, heavy metal football with Jurgen Klopp. But I want to see more than just being a counterattacking team. I want to see us building a goal out of nothing, building a goal from the back. Like that's what Maresca is having us do. We play the ball out of the back every single time. It'd be nice to actually see that go to our benefit rather than scoring all of our goals on the counterattack, right? Like what's the point of playing from the back if we're just scoring all of our goals on the counterattack anyway? Bournemouth's fight back from 2 goals in the 87th minute against Everton is the latest Premier League team has ever trailed by that margin and gone on to claim all 3 points. And finally, Caicedo's 50.5-meter strike against Cherries in May from what is almost certainly a club record distance was his first goal for the Blues. First, and not too many after that have there been, unfortunately. Okay, now that we read through that, let's go over to the lineup and let's do a bit of a prediction here, guys. Now, if you need to see, I don't think you need to see the roster. Everybody knows what's going on there, right? So, we can just right away go right to Sanchez over here. He's going to be at the back. It's not going to be, I think Jorgensen is actually injured. So, we're going to see Sanchez over at the back in between the sticks. Then I think you can safely say that Cucurella is going to play over here. Oops, that's the wrong spot. It's going to be, let's go. It's going to be at the 2 spot. Oops, 3. It's going to be Cucurella. Cucurella at left back. Pretty much locked in. On the left side here, it's going to be CHILWELL as we have had thus far, basically in every single Premier League game. Those are autos. Then we're probably going to see Fofana because he is back. I don't think that he is going to be left out, even though he was slightly injured and had to sit out of the French Nations League games. I think he will probably still start. Gabe C is still pissed off at Fofana because he's just causing a bunch of crap, honestly, with his dumb interviews and coming at Enzo Fernandez like that when he didn't need to make that public. He could have just talked to Enzo personally, maybe had kept it within the locker room. But he just went straight to Twitter with it. I mean, I don't like that. I tend to think, those types of players are going to cause trouble, and it's going to affect the locker room adversely at some point. And we need every little bit that we can get if we want to get through this season, get that Champions League football, and get our club some freaking money, okay? Because that's what we need. That's a big part of going forward. We need to get that Champions League money. Conference League ain't doing it. So anyway, we need every inch, and we don't need toxic players in the locker room like Fofana or Lukaku or whoever the hell else. Okay, here's the spot that people are going to be have been speculating about. We know Malo Gusto's out now, and we know Reece James ain't coming back, not this soon. Maybe he's closer than Malo Gusto even, honestly, but there's been a lot of conjecture in this regard. Is it going to be Moises Caicedo? Because we know he's played at right back before. Is it going to be Disasi? Because he's played right back. I know, right? Gabe C says, Chilwell. Well, that would be something. Then we'd have to probably... I don't think Chilwell would play right back. I think if anything, because we've seen Cucurella, I believe, at right back. Cucurella, I should say. Cucurella has been at right back for us, I believe. If not for us, for Brighton maybe. And I think Caicedo also played right back for Brighton. But I think Cucurella has actually played right back for us in the past. I can't remember exactly. But if anything, I think Chilwell would be on the left and Cucurella would be on the right. But I highly doubt that Maresca is actually... That's something I'm not going to predict. I'm not going to predict that Maresca plays Chilwell. It's not going to happen. I think it's probably going to be... I don't think it should be Disasi. I probably would rather see Caicedo drop back there. And then I'd like to see... not even Dewsbury Hall, but... I would even give Casadei a chance to come in and play. I mean, Dewsbury Hall has been pretty much awful for us, even against crappy competition. Yeah, so I'm not sure I would go with Dewsbury Hall. Yeah, I don't think so. But so I think I'd like to see Caicedo too. And I haven't decided, Gabe, if... Go back. I thought you'd like to see Caicedo at right back, man. Apparently you'd like to see him go back to Brighton. Yeah, you hate Caicedo, don't you? I'm going to say because this is a prediction. This isn't like a wish list here. This is, what do I think that Maresca is going to do? I think Maresca is probably going to play Disasi there. Yeah, unfortunately, in my opinion. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see Disasi there, number 2. Because I don't think he wants to play Dewsbury Hall in the midfield next to Caicedo, honestly. I just don't think so. Or next to Fernandez, rather. Because if he plays Caicedo at right back, which actually I know you don't like him, Gabe, but but I would prefer. Then I think that you only really can expect Dewsbury Hall in the midfield. So I think it's going to be Disasi. And then I think in the midfield, yeah, we're going to see Fernandez, number 8. And we're going to see, I should have just put him over there, but I think it'll be on the left side. And we're going to see Caicedo, number 25. Yeah, 25. Then up front, I think pretty much you can expect to see Madueke on the right, number 11. You're going to see Cole Palmer in the 10 spot, number 20. And on the left, you're going to see, hopefully, although we haven't really been seeing it that much, he didn't start against Crystal Palace. Neto started against Crystal Palace. So you think it's going to be Neto? You don't think it's going to be Nkunku? Because Nkunku started against City, but he hasn't started since he started against City, right? This is another spot I'm not sure about. It's either, and here's the other one that could happen. Could be Jadon Sancho, right? Could literally see Jadon Sancho. He's been training with Maresca. Maresca's been saying we're trying some new things. It could be Sancho. You think he would start Sancho? I almost don't think he would. But because he would be a good idea if the game doesn't go well, if we aren't able to break down the low block of Bournemouth, maybe he brings Sancho out to sort of break that. Nkunku would be good also. From Gabe, Nkunku would be good also. And I hope Sancho doesn't start. Why don't you hope Sancho starts? I have a good feeling about Sancho coming to help us, honestly. I have a feeling he's going to perform way better than he did at United. He's going to go back to his Dortmund days. It's going to reignite his career here. That's my thought. Maybe, hopefully. I'm going to guess it's a tough one. It's either between Neto or Nkunku. I'm going to go with Nkunku because I think he should start, personally. He deserves to start. I don't see how you're Maresca and you look at this on merit and say it's not Nkunku. You think Sancho only plays well in Germany? We'll see, man. And obviously we're going to see Nicholas Jackson up top. I don't think that's going to change. There you have it. That's going to be it. That's going to be the formation. It's going to be 4-2-3-1. And those are the players. Again, some of the ones I'm less sure about is Disasi at right back. And Nkunku. If it's not Nkunku, it'll be Neto probably. Although it could be Felix, it could be Sancho, but it'll probably be Neto if it's not Nkunku. And at the right back, it'll probably be Caicedo if it's not Disasi. And then in the middle, you'll see Dewsbury Hall. Yep. That is my thought. And while I'm here, while we just finished this, why don't I give you my marketing pitch yet again? Guys, like, subscribe to the channel, all right? Hit the notification bell if you want to know when we are live because, hey, we've been doing a bunch of live shows lately, and it would be nice to know when we're live, right? But the subscription is more important. We're a growing channel. We're getting big all the time, bigger and bigger and bigger all the time, always getting new subscribers here and there. It's happening. So why not get in before the channel blows up, and then you can be that guy. You could be that cool guy. Hey, I was there before. I subscribed way before they even blew up, way before Asaf was all over YouTube, just calling him like he sees him. All the hottest takes on the YouTubes with regards to Chelsea. I was there, and how are you going to say that if you don't subscribe now? Then you'll just be like, subscriber number 4,000 or whatever by the time that happens. Daniel Mitzner is in. Daniel Mitzner, how is Disasi our choice for right back? Because there's no one else from Gabe C. I know, LOL, just sad from Daniel Mitzner. Yeah, my friends, this isn't my choice, okay? I want to make this clear. This is a prediction. This is what I predict that Maresca will do. As I just said, Disasi, it's going to be one of two things. He's probably either going to put Caicedo down at right back and then have Dewsbury Hall come in and play next to Fernandez, which is also sad. But because Dewsbury Hall has been pretty god awful as well. But I think Disasi's been a little bit better than Dewsbury Hall. And that's probably why he's going to go with Disasi, especially because Disasi, in my opinion, actually, I much prefer Disasi at right back than at center back. At center back, he just seems like a total liability. The guy cannot clear an air ball in the box. He just always gets himself into trouble. It's really sad. So I'd much rather, I think he does a lot better at right back. So I'm not totally upset about that. It's not great. I'm not totally upset about it. It's better than him at center back. That would be, but you know, a lot of things can happen, but I think that's what it is. Those are the two things that I'm unsure about. Disasi at right back and Nkunku on the left wing up front. And if it's not Nkunku, it's going to be Neto probably. I don't think it's going to be Felix. I don't think it's going to be Sancho. Yeah, so that's my prediction. And yeah, Daniel Mitzner, I missed the news. Is Chile healthy again? So Chile has been healthy. Chile's not only healthy, but he is in the on the roster. And since you weren't here for that, why don't we just I can quickly go through the roster again. We put out our official roster. And you could see over here. Yeah, our official 2024-25 squad list is out. And you could see over here, we got Sanchez, Disasi, Cucurella, Tosin, Arabioyo, Benoit Badiashile, Levi Colwill, Pedro Neto, Enzo Fernandez, Mikhailo Mudryk, Madueke, Jorgensen, Marcus Bettinelli, Joao Felix, Nicholas Jackson, Carney Chukwuemeka, Christopher Nkunku, Jadon Sancho, Cole Palmer, Ben motherfucking Chilwell, baby. And as we will see, or maybe we won't see, but you could see in the comments on Instagram, we're not the only ones happy about this development. So certainly exciting news to see Chilwell back in the squad. I don't, like Gabe was thinking that Chile might come in, or hopefully putting in that he thinks that Chilwell will come and play against Bournemouth. That ain't gonna happen. That I highly doubt that would happen. If he did, obviously, I think he would play at left back, not at right back. It would be Cucurella playing at right back, deputizing over there. Yeah, but it's not happening. He's not going to come back into the squad and immediately play against Bournemouth. Highly doubt that. That is not a Maresca move. That doesn't seem like something Maresca would do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he's going to be on the bench, but maybe he will be. Maybe he will be. It would be awesome. It's just like, I think so many of us are thinking, like, just give the kid a chance. Just give Chile a chance. You give Chile a chance, he is going to make it happen. And Maresca, you're going to be psyched. Gabe C, I'd even buy that ugly kid if he starts. Bro, that kit is so ugly. The alt kit's nice. I like the white kit, actually. The white kit, the away kit is nice. But I've been saying this for a while now. The home kit, in my opinion, has not changed. Like, oftentimes, you know, you'll hate the kit in the beginning and then it'll just warm up to it as the season goes on. Not happening. It still looks like a botched 80s swimwear textile, honestly. Just terrible. I think it's actually probably the worst kit ever for Chelsea. Yeah, I think it's the worst kit ever for Chelsea. Worse in my lifetime. Worse in my career as a Chelsea fan. Yeah, pretty darn bad. Let's see here. It's so bad, dude. It's so ugly, dude. And it's exactly what I just said. It just looks like a terrible 80s swimwear textile from Speedo, you know? Okay, so oh yeah, I wanted to look cuz what I was thinking is that this match is not a foregone conclusion. That's why, I mean, it's even in the poll here that I put up. I'm worried about Bournemouth. I watched that Everton game. They didn't. Looks like Daniel Mitzner. Looks like shitty tie-dye we made in day game. 100%. 100%, bro. Exactly. But I'm worried about this game. I watched that game of Bournemouth versus Everton. They did lose to West Ham, but they drew Newcastle. If you look at their form over here, they drew Forest as well. Was that at home? It was away, Forest. And Newcastle at home, they drew. West Ham at away, they lost. But against it was Everton away as well, and they got that win. Now they're at home. And I'm worried. This guy Cloyvier, he seems to terrorize us a little bit when he plays against us. I think, again, we're going to have the trouble, and we've been talking about this thus far. Chelsea has not been able to break teams down in a low block. We have the highest amount of counterattacking goals in the league. Okay, we scored the most counterattacking goals. That is our bread and butter right now, counterattacks. And that is not, when you're a team that plays out of the back, like what the hell is the point of playing out the back if you're relying on counterattacking goals? Okay, at least, I mean, somebody elucidate me. I really don't, I don't see it. So I'm concerned. You have a pretty well organized team in Bournemouth, even though they did give up 2 against Everton. You know, they're at home. They've given up, 1 goal at home? How many goals at home? Like 1 goal at home. They're pretty well organized, this Bournemouth team. And we're not doing well breaking down teams that are able to sit back. Just not. Look at us against, Crystal Palace. We weren't really getting much of a sniff. So here's Daniel Mitzner. So let's embrace that style for now until we get solid. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to do. Exactly, but we're not going to sit back ourselves. Daniel says, let's sit back ourselves. But that is not the game that Maresca is going to play. He's not going to send us out there and be like, okay, sit back. And but that would be like a surprise for Bournemouth, wouldn't it? Like, hey, fine, you want to sit back? We'll sit back. We'll leave that midfield a little open. Circa early Conte style. Yeah, but we're not really set up for that. I mean, if you remember correctly, Conte played like 5 at the back. With wingbacks, we're not exactly set up to play that way, especially in possession. If you've seen Maresca's tactics sessions on NBC, talks about how he likes to just have like a line of 5 or 6 all the way up top. We're not exactly set up for that, but I would like to see something done about that, because I'm worried that we're just going to play into their hands in that way, because Maresca is a very, very opinionated guy, obviously, and he wants to play a certain way. And maybe he's not going to be unwavering about that. And we're just going to play right into Bournemouth's hands. They're going to sit back, and then they're going to counterattack us, and we're not going to be able to break them down, and we're going to be frustrated. I could just see that shit happening, and it pisses me off, honestly. So Daniel Mitzner, yeah, he doesn't want to play that style, but I just want a manager who isn't an ideologue and more pragmatic. Let's start fucking winning. Exactly. So, and I was saying earlier in the stream, I don't know if you were in here, Daniel, but it's weird calling you Daniel. But I was saying earlier that, what was I saying? Yeah, this is a pivotal moment. This is a pivotal moment where we could just start winning or just start losing. we haven't really made a point. We haven't really stamped this season yet at all. Like, it's early, but we haven't like made a point in dominance. We haven't said, hey, we're here. We're this dominant team. This is the way we play. No, we've sort of won some and lost some and drew some, and we're not convincing against in the Conference League. And it's like, it could go either way right now. And Bournemouth is a stiff test. Gabe C., we would win if we had a fucking striker. True. And we will get to that. In fact, I want to look at that right now. Because I don't know if you guys watch the Obi podcast, and hopefully I don't get banned for this. But he talks about the Victor Osimhen deal. Because I don't know if you know this, but he's pretty tight with Osimhen. And apparently he was totally in on this deal. And he was there for the whole ride. And he talks about this for a few minutes here. And I wanted to just take a look at it. I've got it running. The playback speed is high. I'm going to run it at 1.25. If it's too fast, we'll slow it down. But I want to just get through a few minutes of this because he talks about a little bit of what transpired behind the scenes. A little bit. He tells a bit of a different narrative to the stories going around, but no, see, Gabe C., then this is the right time. You need to see this. Let's check it out. I'm going to play it.
Ultimately, John, and listen, there'll be a lot of Chelsea fans, a lot of Nigerian fans listening in and watching this podcast, wanting to know what the actual inside story, what the real story, what is the truth behind Victor Osimhen's failed move to Chelsea. So let's unpack it, John. What can you tell us? Were you involved in trying to get Victor to Stamford Bridge?
Where can I start from? I mean, a lot happened. Of course, everybody, it's a no-brainer, and I think
an open secret. Right?
Exactly, it's open secret. Everybody knows that I was, involved in the deal. I was involved in trying to make sure that I get Victor Osimhen to the club. A lot happened. It was very interesting because I think I hear a lot of people saying this and saying that about Victor. And how greedy he is and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah.
That was the narrative,
Take
right?
a pay cut and come to Chelsea, blah, 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 stuff like that.
500,000 pounds.
I just want to categorically say it here, that I know the kid, I know the boy since from the very first day he joined the national team.
Yeah.
My relationship with him has been very, very good. And since then, we've kept in contact. We've been friends since then. Of course, I know him. I know what he's capable of. And I just want to say that is absolutely not true. Victor is not a greedy boy. He's not a greedy guy. He only wants to get what he deserves. And that's not a problem.
He wasn't asking for £500,000 a week.
No, he wasn't asking for all this bullshit for me. I know what happened. I was there when I was in the midst of everything. So
Okay, but I will say this. Okay, I will say this. Just because he wasn't asking for £500,000, I mean, again, I will say this. He was making 300 million euros a week at Napoli. Okay, you're making 300 million euros a week at Napoli, and talking to Chelsea, like, there's no, and as you heard him say, Mikel, he was just asking for what he was worth. Well, I don't know that Chelsea should have even been involved in trying to negotiate with him if they aren't willing to pay more than, or at least 300 million euros, right? And that's not been the Chelsea style this season. This is not that administration's style. But we'll keep going with this because he does elaborate a little bit, in that regard.
I can tell everybody that is definitely not true. Victor's not a greedy boy. He just wants to play football and get what he deserves. And that's not a problem.
No.
A player knowing what he's worth and asking and demanding to be paid what he's worth. That's not a problem. And also to be able to come to a compromise between him and Chelsea to make sure that the deal get done.
Yeah.
We were very, very close. I put it that way. We were very, very close. I was aware of getting this deal done. But it was just, slight issues, slight little problems that we just couldn't get over the line. And of course, the medical couldn't be done as well. Even if we get the deal done, it was too late. But I know exactly where we stopped. I know exactly where we are with the deal. And if eventually, say January or whatever, we have to pick it up again, then I know exactly where we are and where we have to start from. So yes, I was the guy right in the middle of everything. For a couple of days, I didn't sleep. On Thursday, I didn't sleep. On a Friday, I didn't sleep. Obviously, I'm here in Dubai. It's about 3-4 hours difference.
3 hours, yeah.
Exactly. So I have to wait for phone calls. I think in the middle of the night, I think on Thursday, I slept around.
So pretty clear right there. You could see he's trying not to give the goose away, but I don't think we're done with Nicholas. I don't think it's obvious the club really wanted to get Osimhen in. despite the high price tag on the wages, right? And it was probably a high price tag on the transfer tag fee, but Chelsea were really trying to go for it. They sent, and I guess he'll talk about it.
For him in the morning, because I was waiting for a phone call from
just a few minutes
side
here,
and
just
phone
a
call
few
from that
minutes,
side, just to make sure that we try to include everything that Victor wants, and the club also have to make sure that they get.
They were
okay
close.
from
They
the
were
owner.
very
Paul had
close
to make sure Paul Winstell was really, really amazing.
Okay,
You know,
so now he's talking
I
about.
can tell you that because this guy, the sporting director, is somebody that I've spoken to now.
Paul Winstanley, he's talking about. Paul Winstanley is one of two co-sporting directors. The other one is Lawrence Stewart, I believe his name is. And there's been a lot of talk about sort of weird operations, but having two sporting directors, you could say, and things not being smooth. But that's not Mikel's story. Like, that's been the story about the Civil War. Yeah, you've got two sporting directors, you've got too much staff, you've got Iqbali and Bully that are not getting along. Well, Mikel's kind of painting a bit of a different picture. These guys are serious. These guys went out to Napoli to try and make this deal happen. They almost got it over the line. It was too late. Like, they wouldn't have been able to get the medical done, but they were so close to getting it done. And it doesn't seem over. It seems like, hey, January comes along, they're looking to pick up where they left off. Victor Osimhen signed with Galatasaray, but nobody in his right mind thinks that Osimhen, what is he, 25, 24? I think he's 25, is going to stay at Galatasaray for the rest of the season or for more than a season at all. Like, the guy wants to play in the way that Obi Mikel talks about it, and he's very clear about it. He's very emphatic about it. Osimhen he doesn't feel like he's finished with Europe. This is like, I mean, they're both Nigerian teammates, or not teammates, but compatriots. Mikel knows, okay? Mikel knows, and he's putting it out there on purpose. Osimhen ain't done. He's going to help it get over the line. I wouldn't be surprised if Osimhen is at Chelsea in January, personally.
I get to know really well now. And hearing from him, it's amazing. It's refreshing to see where the club, the owners, and the sporting
if I were
director
Nicholas
wants to
Jackson,
take,
I'd be
especially Paul,
not
wants to take
happy
the
about
club
this.
There's so much. There's so much to be happy about. There's so much excitement. The club.
They've got a vision.
They got a vision, and it's a very, very great vision. They want to bring the good, not just bringing any player now. Not just bringing any player into the football club. It's about bringing the right players, players who can improve the team, who can improve the squad. And I think
honestly, you could have fooled me on that. It seems like it seemed for a while that they were just bringing any player into the club, if I'm honest about it. But
that and from this
that's neither here nor there. Who cares, really?
The right players
at this point
coming to the football club, and that's something that is really, really nice.
So to be clear, John, you were, of course, you're not Victor's agent, but you're a man that he deeply respects.
Yeah.
You said it yourself there, your friends, Roberto Calenda, and we'll get to him because some speculation that Victor has since got rid of his agent. We don't know the particulars on that. But coming back to the Chelsea deal,
I told him to get rid of it.
This is crazy.
Don't say that, Roberto. I apologize.
Mikel told him to get rid of his agent.
You're in the middle of it, John. You've got Victor calling you, and you've got Paul.
Maybe the
Winstanley,
agent messed up a lot in the dealings.
Well. You're trying to get this deal over the line, and given the fact there is a transfer deadline, it was 11 p.m. I think in the UK. The pressures of that, I've read, and again I'm asking you because I don't know. I'm very much in the dark. Chelsea had a party that were in Naples. They were serious about getting this deal done.
Very serious about getting the deal done. I think I spoke to Paul on Wednesday or something like that, and I said, listen, we have to send somebody down to see Victor, and that will change the way he sees things, and then he will understand how much the club wants him to come to the club. So, and then straight away, the club sends somebody to Naples and try to speak to Victor and his agent to make sure we get the deal done. It just shows how much the club were willing to have the player, and how eager the club were willing to get Victor, and how eager Victor as well was to come to the club. I know a lot of people say, oh, he didn't want to come to... No, that's not true. Victor really, I know, he really wanted to come to the club because he still knows he has a lot to prove in Europe. He wants to come to Chelsea, he wants to help the club, he wants to come in and help the club to get back to where we should be. He knows he can score a lot of goals here in the Premier League. And what a better place to do that than, his childhood club, Chelsea.
So...
Okay, so I think we'll leave it over at that. I mean, it's clear. Osimhen really wanted to come. He tried. Chelsea really tried. They were so serious that they sent Paul Winstanley, one of our co-sporting directors over there. If I'm not mistaken, they had actually submitted a deal sheet before the 11 p.m. deadline, and then they had until 1 a.m., and I guess they just couldn't get it over the line. But the way Mikel's talking about it, and I really do believe him here, I don't think he's 4D chessing it. I don't think he's playing games for a friend. He's really tied into this deal. He was there all the way. He implored Chelsea to send Paul Winstanley. Chelsea were willing to do it. I'm surprised that it even got that far just because of the 300 million euro wages. We have among the lowest wage. You wouldn't believe it, but Chelsea's average weekly wage is 60 million pounds a week. Okay. It's 60 million pounds. The average weekly wage in the Premier League is 72 million pounds. I don't know if you've seen these figures, but they've been everywhere. And Chelsea is well below that average weekly wage right now. So I was even shocked that it would even be a conversation to bring Osimhen with Saudi, with the Turkish clubs going after him. How could we possibly, given our wage structure, how could we possibly even compete? But apparently that's not the case, and I kind of trust Obi on this one, honestly. I really do think that it was almost over the line. Osimhen, and I would probably, I would probably put $100 that Osimhen is here in January, comes to Chelsea in January, unless Jackson just pops off. I would probably put $100 on Osimhen. I wonder if that bet is out there. But if not that, then probably next year. And I definitely don't think that Osimhen is going to stay in Galatasaray. Nobody really believes that, do they? So that's my opinion on that. And that's just a little snippet. This is a longer clip. If you haven't checked out the OB1 podcast, honestly, he just popped. You want to take that bet, Gabe? That Osimhen comes to Chelsea by January? That'd be an interesting one. But if you haven't checked out the OB1 podcast, this video in particular is 37:18 long. But do yourself a favor. Go check out OB1 podcast, especially if you're a big Chelsea fan. Mourinho coming on the show. They have Hazard coming on the show. Really some great insights on the podcast. One of the best, especially for Chelsea fans. Again, one of the best podcasts that you could go out and see. Forget my podcast. Forget reading between the headlines, peruse the news. Go check out the Obi-Wan podcast. But also stay here. Also, subscribe to my channel. Okay? Subscribe to the channel. Like the stream. All of that great stuff. But also check out the OB podcast. And I want to thank him for not offering me the use of that video, but having the video up there, and hopefully YouTube not banning me for it. Okay, we have a little bit more time. I'm just going to throw up again our lineup prediction. Yep, there it is. And then why don't we just quickly peruse the Chelsea Instagram scene before we close up shop here, guys. It's been a great pod so far. Thank you for stopping by, anybody that is here. Again, like, subscribe, hit the bell. I know I'm saying it a lot right now, but I didn't throw the graphic up before, so I want to throw it up now. Now I threw the graphic up. Now it really counts. Okay, so, right, Instagram, we're out here. We out here. Let's just check down the stories. We got Nicholas Jackson. Here's his story. Always active. Yeah, this was another one that we didn't cover, but I thought about covering it. Jackson signs a new contract extension, another 2-year contract extension to 2033. I don't know why they keep signing contract extensions with him. What is all of this about, honestly? I have no clue. But and that doesn't mean we're not picking up Osimhen, and I hope he knows that. I believe we will. Yeah, I think it was only a 2-year contract extension. I don't really understand this, but maybe we'll find out eventually. Here's Kendry Paez. If you don't know Kendry is one of our 17-year-old wonder kids, okay, that we picked up. He plays for in an Ecuador club team. What's it called again? I forget the name of the club. Not Internacional. Independiente, I think. And yep, Independiente. Here it is. Independiente. He's exceptional. He's an exceptionally talented young guy. Yeah, and he plays for the Ecuador national team as well. one of the youngest, if not the youngest, youngest players to ever play in the Ecuador national team. So him and Estevao are serious prospects. Here he is posting training with Independiente, which is like the best club, I guess, in Ecuador. Kid's only 17 years old. Old Raheem, getting his wages subsidized by Chelsea. Chelsea paying more of his weekly wage than Arsenal is. No loan fee either. Just have to say it every time. It's just such a sad, silly situation. Leslie getting the deal over the line at Southampton for a loan deal. I just hope, and they're playing Man United. Come on, Leslie, do some work, bro. I mean, who doesn't like Leslie? I like Leslie. Leslie's pretty damn talented, honestly. Hope he does well over there at Southampton. Good club for him. Juan Mata Garcia playing in Sydney right now in the Australian A-League, or he's about to. Good for him. Good boy. I always loved him. JT, John Terry, captain, leader, legend, posting. Sheffield United look very good. Play some great football. Alfie Gilchrist, I love that JT follows our boys, okay? I love that he follows our boys still. He's out there following our loanees. I mean, what a class act, wouldn't you say? What a class act. Just love him. David Washington has got to be psyched. He is on the roster. Nobody saw that coming, okay? Nobody saw David Washington making the team after all of those frozen out players. David Washington is in the squad, has played like 20 minutes for the club. I think he's like 18 as well, isn't he? David Washington. I think he's like 18 years old or 17 even. 19. Okay, my bad. But okay, so David Washington I'd be hype and posting this too if I was him. So good for him. Congratulations, bro. You made it to the big show. Here's Cole Palmer. Goal of the month. He got goal of the month? Dude, this kid is just killing it every which way. Just love Cole. Who doesn't love Cole Palmer? Cold. Okay. Congrats to Cole Palmer, Cold Palmer, as he is affectionately known. Let's go over to Tosin. The sweat today is the victory tomorrow. Facts, bro. Facts. Here's Noni. Playing for England, making his debut and scoring an assist. This kid is on the way up. Good for Noni, man. Might be one of our saving graces this season. Tammy. Good old Tammy. Come on, Tammy. What you got for us, bro? You score a free kick in training. You're posting it. Woo! Side netting, bro. Side netting, Tammy. Did he score another one? No, he doesn't score 2 in a row. Side netting, bro. Side netting. Boom! 2 side netting. Tammy would have been decent, right? Come on. Who thinks Tammy would have been decent at the club this season? I mean, maybe better than Nicholas Jackson, I'll tell you that much. He's bigger. He has more experience in the league. Yeah, Tammy would have been damn decent. Tammy. That is a creepy painting or picture that Thiago Silva has in what seems like his home, his residence. That is creepy as all hell, bro. Get that shit off your wall, man. Jesus. All right. Let's head on over to Moises Caicedo. Good for you, bro. I hope I don't get banned for that crap. Axel Disasi, so psyched that he actually made the roster because he probably is the one that doesn't deserve to be. But yeah. Sorry, Axel, if you're watching this, bro. Still love you. Still hope you do well for the team, bro. Check out Didier. All right, that's enough from Didier. Skipping Evra. I don't even know why I follow him. Evra's hilarious, honestly. If you don't follow Patrice Evra, you should follow him. Evra's pretty hilarious. Cucurella. All eyes on tomorrow. Working hard. Dewsbury Hall training. I don't want to necessarily see him, but we could see Dewsbury Hall tomorrow. We could see him if Caicedo drops to the right back position. Ramirez, you're the last stop for today. The last stop, my brother. Is that his son? Yeah, probably. All right, folks. I think that's about it. I think we'll leave it off there. It's been really great with y'all. This has been a great show. Thank you, Gabe, for stopping by. Extra involved. I don't know if Daniel's still in here, but thank you as well for engaging. I love to see all the chats coming through, getting engaged. That's what this channel is about. That's what Reading Between the Headlines is about. And it's going to apply throughout all the shows and things that we do over here, but especially Peruse the News, which is the live show where we catch up on the latest news, Chelsea news together. Don't forget the bet. You did not confirm it. We'll talk about that at we'll talk about that bet, Gabriel, at when we play on Monday. But yeah, I don't want to have to collect on that. Is the thing? I don't have to take your money, bro. You know, I know you got a family. I don't have to take your money if Victor Osimhen comes, and then you're going to be rooting against Osimhen coming. What kind of position does that put you in? I don't want to put you in that position, bro. That's really not my bag. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for coming by. Anybody who came by, don't forget to like, more importantly, subscribe to the channel. Yes, do all the things. Hit the notification bell. A lot of shit talk will be happening thanks to Gabe C and friends. But yeah, we enjoy having you here. We enjoy going through the motions and checking out all the latest news on Chelsea and maybe some world football news more broadly, as may be the case. Until next time, guys, I say peace out and live football and prosper. Later, y'all.
Soccer? But it's really called football. Soccer? The creators called it football. Soccer? You know, you play it with your feet. Reading between the headlines. Soccer? But it's